In Simon Tafresh Vav, it speaks about the importance of a person being able to ask forgiveness from one another. The Chai Adam brings down that if a person fasts 100 fasts, and he keeps 100 Yom Kippurs, and he brings all the korbanot, all the sacrifices that there are in the world on the Mizbeach during the times of the Beit HaMikdash, Hashem still cannot overlook what one did to his fellow men. We need to understand that there are mitzvot between man and Hashem, and mitzvot between man and his fellow friend. But at the same time, we have the issue of sins between man and Hashem, and sins between man and people. Hashem says, if you wronged me, I can forgive you. When you do teshuvah, I can forgive you. Nothing stands before teshuvah. However, he does say that when you do wrong a fellow Jew, you stole something from him, you wronged him, you damaged him, you caused him embarrassment. Rabotai, coming to Yom Kippur and fasting 100 Yom Kippurs will not atone what you did to that fellow Jew. So that's when Simon Tafresh Vav, that's Simon 406, every single person has an obligation to ask from his family members, friends, brothers, sisters, spouses, rabbis, does not matter who they wronged, they have to ask them mechila, and if they actually took something from them, mechila, asking forgiveness alone will not help unless you return the object, or unless you tell the person, listen, this is what I did, and he says, you know something, never mind, I don't want the money, I forgive you, and that's it. That's a different ballgame. But we need to understand the severity of not asking mechila on Erev Yom Kippur. Another concept the Shulchan Aruch brings down, that when you're dealing with a regular person, you have up to 3 times with 3 different people, that you have to ask him mechila. So for example, let's say, an employee offended his employer, or 2 friends, Reuven offended Shimon. So now, Reuven wants to ask forgiveness from Shimon. Shimon doesn't want to forgive him. So he brings 3 people with him, some say even in the first time, some want to learn even though only from the second or third time. Meaning you have to go up to him 3 times with 3 different people, and you have to try to appease him in different ways. Now when I say appease him, Rabotai, it doesn't only mean with words. Maybe you wronged him to such an extent that he'll be happy if you give him a present, or maybe you're going to give him money. I don't know what's going to make that person happy. But you have to be able to pacify him. So the Shulchan Aruch says that if after the 3rd time, when you came with 3 different people every single time, if he still did not forgive you, you are no longer obligated to go and ask him anymore for mechila. The Ramah does bring down, he says you should go ahead and make it public knowledge, meaning in front of 10 people, you should say, I asked him for forgiveness, but he did not want to forgive you. So people can know that you did your part and it's him that's not doing his part, because we don't want people to see the wrong message. Why aren't 2 neighbors speaking to one another? Or why aren't 2 brothers speaking to one another? Now, if nobody knows of this problem, the Mishnah Berurah says, do not make it public knowledge. In any event, Rabotai, it's very, very important that when it comes to asking forgiveness, we ask, and the one that's forgiving has to be able to forgive. Rabbi Shlita brings out, if you don't forgive, Hashem won't also forgive you. All this, what I said up to now, is with a regular person. However, when you're dealing with a rabbi, not even your personal rabbi where you learned majority of your Torah from, a rabbi that you only heard the words of Torah from, and you spoke bad about him, you suspected him, that Rabotai, the Shulchan Aruch paskins, you have to ask him mechila until he forgives you. Even if you come up to him 1,000,000 times and he doesn't forgive you, you still have to come up to him another 1,000,000 times until he does forgive you. When you're dealing with Talmidei Chachamim, meaning from people that you learn Torah from, they're on a different level, so if they don't forgive you, Rabotai, that's a very, very big problem. As the Gemara says, Hashem takes retribution for the Talmidei Chachamim when they're being embarrassed or attacked from somebody else. Because remember, you have to understand, when a Talmid Chacham or a rabbi gives up his life to sit and learn Torah and lead the community or whatever it might be, he's overgoing everything, all the pleasures. He doesn't go here, he doesn't eat this. So he's sitting all day in one place and he's learning Torah, just to be able to educate Hashem's people. And so we come and we're going to bash him. So Rabotai, that's what Hashem says when it comes to my children, meaning my Tamdicham that learn Torah, he says, even if they will forgive you, he will have to take it up with me. It's not so pashut. When it comes to Talmidei Chachamim, who you learn Torah from, or even a rabbi in a shul, if you spoke bad about him, you have to ask him for mechila, even up to 1,000,000 times, until he actually goes ahead and he forgives you. That's what people have to be careful, Rabotai, when a lot of times this question was posed, when they write reviews on the bottom of the videos and so on and so forth. Yes, you might think you're doing nothing wrong, but if a bad name comes out on the rabbi or so forth and so on, you have to ask him for mechila, and it has to be in public and so on and so forth. In any event, Rabotai, Rabbenchum brings down over here that a person has to be very, very careful, and he has to strengthen himself to remove all the hatred for anybody on Erev Yom Kippur. Because if he's not going to do that, he says that he brings down the Zohar Kodesh, he says anybody who does not remove all the hatred from his heart on Erev Yom Kippur, his prayer will not go up. So therefore, Rabotai, on Erev Yom Kippur, even before that, we want to try to forgive everybody. When I have no grudges on anyone, that's what a person has to say. Even if he wronged you very much, you on your part want to forgive him, so your prayers can go up.